This is a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it.
It's Tady's Day
Boy, we were excited. You can sense it.
He had a whole block of brie last night. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Coming back to get him.
What it would be like to be not on a Ferris wheel, but a great wheel.
So we are now rotating.
So how do you feel about buskers?
I'm pretty into buskers.
You are.
I am.
Here's the deal with salads.
We'll get to the baking of a cake.
It's a little boring, kind of.
Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Tady's Day Out. I'm your host, Joe Tady. Let me tell you how this works. Each episode, a guest and I will review the best attractions Seattle has to offer. We pick one, we do it, then we tell you how it went. You'll hear footage from the review after the studio, and some of it will even be taken while we're doing something, try to really capture the moment. To pique your interest, episodes will include an adventure at Pike Place Market, Woodland Park Zoo, and of course we will be going to the top of the Space Needle, which I did when I was in 6th grade, so I'm excited to do it again as an adult maybe. We're even going to do Ride the Ducks, despite its dangerous reputation. I'm gonna take that bullet for you guys. Hopefully it'll be fun. And I'm always open to suggestions from you, the listeners. If there is ever something that's synonymous with Seattle that you want to hear me experience, just shoot me an email at tadysdayout@gmail.com. So let's get right to it. My first episode, I wanted to do a place that is dear to my heart, but hadn't been to since I was in high school. And that is the Museum of Popular Culture, or others may know it as its older name, the Experience Music Project. Joining me for this week's episode is my good friend, Eli Taylor. Welcome, Eli.
Hey, thanks, Joe. Happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome to Tady's Day Out, the inaugural episode. This is all new.
I know. I'm pumped to be part of it.
Yeah, new territory. This is great. Here's why I wanted you on this one. You're a musician.
Yes.
You were in a band for a long time. Which band was it? Was it Soundgarden?
Yeah. We get, a lot of times people ask me that question, Soundgarden, but It was actually 4 Minutes Till Midnight.
4 Minutes Till Midnight.
Yeah.
You lived in Japan.
I did.
So I thought this would be, that's where you toured. You're on a label there.
Yeah.
4minutestillmidnight.com.
Yep.
Is that
check
right?
It out.
Is that
That's a real thing.
website?
Yeah.
Okay.
The number 4.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so that's why I wanted you a part of this. I thought it'd be really fun to do this museum that is mostly based around music, though it's changed it up over the years, with another person who can appreciate music history.
Absolutely.
A little history before the review. The EMP was founded in 2000 and opened with mostly music exhibits, or all music exhibits, and it was sort of known as the Jimi Hendrix experience. That's an X, not a K. I remember there being a really amazing Bob Dylan exhibit, and I was really into Bob Dylan at the time. And I went there with my friends, and I wanted to tell them all the facts before they would read it.
Right.
Which I'm sure was insufferable.
You want to be in the know.
Yeah, I wanted to oh, no, the museum got it wrong. His name's Robert Zimmerman.
Nice.
So that
wasn't there. That Bob Dylan.
Well, they change it out all the time. I feel like they've solidified a lot more things now that they've melded with the sci-fi and the video game thing. Mm-hmm. They used to, where the Nirvana thing is now, they used to have a thing called the Northwest Corridor, which was a history of all Seattle music from the 50s all the way up till now, which was really cool because they had the Sonics in there. And more about the 70s, punk era and the 80s, which they still have in there, but now it's all Nirvana focused.
Right.
Because they're, taking punk to the masses.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I personally never having gone to the Experience Music Project Museum and just seen Mopop, it felt parts of it like a little disjointed because it is all clashed together, which it sounded like they needed to do for financial reasons.
Well, so in 2004 they added the Science Fiction Museum, which was like in the same building, but it felt very separate. You went on one and then you paid to go to the other, and it was really cool. I remember doing that and I really liked it, but I feel like they, like you said, merged it all into one, because the Science Fiction Museum ended up just making a lot more money than the regular EMP. And I don't know what exactly it was, but now it also has that video game, the Indie Game Revolution.
Yeah.
Which I will say, neither of us are interested in video games.
True.
And we sort of walked into that exhibit and looked around and shrugged our shoulders and said, great. I believe you pointed out later in the day that was the exhibit that was most full.
Yeah, no, it was, which was, people seemed very involved.
Yeah, it wasn't a very busy day at Mopop.
No.
Except for that video game situation. And actually, in the Sci-Fi Museum and Star Trek. There weren't very many people in the music areas.
In the music, part of it.
Yeah, are they over it? Is music dead? That's why I started this podcast.
Really, exactly. That should be the name of the episode.
Is music dead?
Yeah, the Big Bang Theory.
So yeah, did you have any preconceived notions before you went in there?
No, well, I mean, I did. I thought that there would be a lot of, a big feature on Jimi Hendrix, which is there, which was cool. They had that room with a lot of his guitars and.
Are you a big Hendrix fan?
I am a Hendrix fan. Yeah, not a fanatic like some people, but
I mostly like the gin.
The gin, Hendrix, cool bottle.
Same guy.
Same guy. Really small, little, powerful bottle. But I do like Jimi Hendrix. It was cool seeing that stuff and seeing like some of the lyrics and everything. I I also knew, and you had told me that you guys in your band that you were in as a kid, that you had recorded in one of those little jam rooms.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty.
We'll get to the jam rooms. Yeah. Those things are funny.
Yeah. So I knew you could play music. I knew there were some interactive aspects of the museum, which I was excited about.
Yeah, very. It was, man, did we jam.
We did.
So we go in there. Mm-hmm. You know what? We actually have a recording of our initial impressions from the Sky Church. I'm going to play that right now.
Cut into that.
So right now we're in the Sky Church. We just entered Mopop. David Bowie is on the old screen.
Yeah.
They used to do a high school battle of the bands here that my high school band failed to get in. Yeah. Yeah. So let's, we're just going to make our way through. We're going to start with the music portion and then end with the Star Trek exhibit. Very interesting. Boy, we were excited. You can sense it in that Sky Church.
Yeah.
God, we were just heading in, looking at all the music.
Man.
So we looked around at the Hendrix stuff. We shrugged at the Indie Game Revolution, and then we got to the jam room. Mm-hmm. So you go upstairs, and there's a bunch of booths and areas where you can just play guitar, and they have these set up like interactive computers where they can walk you through how to play, how to use these different pedals, how to do all this sorts of stuff. Which you and I seem to feel like a lot of the screens weren't working.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Because you would go to, try to participate in something or like get a feel for what a delay pedal was going to do, and it didn't seem that.
Yeah. It was a little underwhelming, and you'd try to click something on some of the screens, and it didn't really seem to do anything.
I know, you were getting ready to debut your voice, man. I know. You were like...
I was a little mad. What song did I try to sing? It's Zeppelin.
Zeppelin.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Robert Plant is like a father to me. So, you and I have wanted to play music together for some time, and we finally got our chance.
We did.
At the EMP, they have full band jam rooms. And as Eli alluded to, I had a band in high school where we wanted to record, but we couldn't find anyone to record us. We were 15. We didn't really know how. So at the EMP, in one of the jam rooms, you could actually pay to have a CD made of your band. And so at the time, our drummer was our singer. We were just two people, and I was the guitarist. So that was how we made our first demos.
Oh, cool.
And you can record it and then pay to have it. I think it was like $15 to have like a 9-minute CD. And it was all one track. And so we would like send that out to like try to get shows and like...
Did you guys get shows off of that CD based
on
that?
I believe we got one show at the old Redmond Firehouse.
I mean,
I believe we got some... I believe we used it for something. But since it was just one CD, we never copied it. It was like the Holy Grail, and somehow it got scratched up and then lost.
Is it gone forever?
It's gone forever. Okay. Pretty sure. I could look through my old CD things that are buried somewhere.
Yeah.
But...
Well, see, that's a good thing. I mean, right here, I think, Mopop is making things happen. It's like you got to record your first CD. We got to jam for the first time.
Right. Actually...
Together.
I know listeners want to hear that first jam. Let's play some of that first jam.
Give them a taste of what could be.
That's a hit.
I think so.
That's a fucking hit.
Woo! Oh, man.
I'll send that out to some places. Okay. I paid $15 for the recording. Oh, man. That's fun. I have not played drums in a while. I just want to throw that out to anyone who would listen to that.
You killed it.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to touch the drumsticks after that.
Yeah, well, they were so hot.
Yeah, they were. Burning.
Man.
Down the house.
I do remember from high school in that jam room area, there was a mixing board where you could mix your own version of Sweet Dreams Are Made of These by the Eurythmics. Oh. And that was all I wanted to do. And I hated moving on. I just wanted to sit there and remix that song. You're like, oh, just the vocals.
Right, right. That's pretty kick-ass, though. That's cool.
It was really cool.
Because then you can see the separation and actually what goes into the whole recording process.
Yeah. And I would always think of that since I'm a bass player, people are like, bass players don't matter. I don't know who's saying that. No one. But in my head, as a kid.
It's kind of, I think, overlooked sometimes.
Yeah.
You are able to see, I mean, with something like that where you can separate it all out, you really see the bass and drums, of course. I mean, without that, you have no foundation.
It's like you may not notice it, but you would if it was gone.
If it's gone.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I dangle over my band's head. Like,
which later, I mean, in fact, they're kind of showing the ingredients.
Yeah.
That it takes to build a band or a cake.
Or a cake. We'll get to that. We'll get to the baking of a cake. So we moved on to the guitar gallery, which was awesome. It had the history of the guitar, all sorts of different famous guitars in there through the years, and some of them were so interesting to see. I didn't realize how far the names like Rickenbacker and Gibson and I guess Les Paul is Gibson. Yeah. But how far all that stuff went back and how cool it was. And what was funny though is that we both noted some of the copy, like on the signs, even like throughout the whole museum, it kind of seemed like they were reaching for some fillers, such as we came through the Jazz Master and it starts off with, quote, not much jazz played on this guitar. Which is like, there's got to be more to say about the Jazz Master than that.
It felt, filler for sure.
Yeah.
And a little dumbed down.
Yeah. Like almost as if someone would come in and be like, Jazz Master, they must have only used this for jazz.
Right.
But perhaps that's true. People are coming from all over the world. I don't know.
Throw them a bone.
And one of my favorite things was right when we walked in, there was a sign, and it was talking about all the new guitars they're going to bring in from famous people over the next year. It was talking about famous guitarists from, different eras, all male, and then in the middle there was just Carrie Brownstein.
Yeah.
Which, she's an amazing guitarist. I love Sleater Kinney, I love Portlandia, but I feel like that was written by a bunch of men that were like, I don't know, who's a famous guitarist?
Right.
Like, have you seen Portlandia? Yeah, like,
let's throw it in.
It just felt really thrown in, the only female there, as if they were like, there are no other famous female guitarists.
No.
Nothing from before.
Yeah,
like the 90s are really the 2000s. Like,
well, and it was like surrounded in such a thing. It was like, it was like John Lee Hooker.
Yeah.
And then Muddy Waters.
Yeah.
And then
Carrie Brownstein.
Yeah.
And then Howlin' Wolf was
yeah,
after
exactly.
that. It's like,
Howlin' Wolf, like
huh?
plug.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
plug.
Like, no. We know women play music.
Right.
Yeah.
We're good. We're hip to it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Mopop.
I did enjoy that though. Back to what you were saying, because I didn't realize when we were looking at the history of the guitar of just seeing, like how, like you said, how far back Gibson, Rickenbacker, they were creating stuff and looking really. I think we both noted, like, for when you're a modern, or whatever that means, modern day musician, and like you kind of have this idea of what rock and roll is, and these people doing these things, and these, like we both noted, they looked very square,
right?
And just like these kind of like
the Flying V guitar,
yeah,
which came out way earlier than I would have thought.
It was like
the 50s,
yeah, 52
and
or something.
There's like guys with clean cut hair and suits, like holding the Flying V
their
guitar,
little bow tie.
yeah, but and being like these smiles,
yeah,
and you're like, what?
Yeah,
like that's a metal guitar,
right?
And one of the guys who made the first electric guitar, and it was like loud, blah blah blah, and that looks like your dad who worked in a factory,
right.
or like in a cubicle somewhere.
Totally.
Because that was just what it was back then.
Right. So that was cool.
It was awesome. Yeah, I really liked that exhibit a lot. Then we moved on to the Nirvana part. Sort of.
Right.
I feel like that part of the museum is now known pretty much for the Hendrix and the Nirvana.
Yeah.
There was some more good copy on the signs there, such as a picture of Dave Grohl saying, "Great shots of drummers like this don't come along, all the time," which, yes, they do.
Yeah.
And that this drummer is really an anchor for the band.
Yeah.
Which, like you remarked, you're like, what do other drummers feel
it's
about
like
that?
everybody's the foundation. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Just generic copy trying to fill in some space.
Well, and again, interesting to see all these things that were so cutting edge, and then they're just, like we were talking about, you had all those albums put together like a collage of like Dead Kennedys, The Germs, Minor Threat.
Everything that led up to them.
Right, led up to this point. And and it's just there, like almost like a, I don't know, like a high school
presentation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird to see it almost at once celebrated and yet belittled. Like it's interesting, as if these things are only about Nirvana or something.
Right.
It's really cool that thousands of people are seeing this, but something feels lost still. I remember growing up, my favorite book that I loved and read hundreds of times and made me want to be in a band was Our Band Could Be Your Life by Michael Azerrad or whatever.
I don't even know.
It's about the underground scene from about 1981 to 1991, and it is about all the stuff that leads up to Nirvana. But there's 14 chapters, and each one is about a different band. It starts with Black Flag, then goes to Husker Du, Minor Threat, Minutemen, Sonic Youth, Replacements, like pretty much everything you saw on the wall there. But it really goes in depth into that world and how that really led up there, as opposed to being like Nirvana was into these bands. It doesn't even mention Nirvana until the last chapter.
Okay.
And if you didn't know it was going to mention it, you wouldn't have known, until then. And so it's just kind of, I guess it's just weird to only see these amazing bands, like these artists, only through the focus of Nirvana.
Right, through that lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like their relevance, or they became relevant because this one band exploded onto the scene. It's kind of like, Nirvana has become like the Beatles.
Yes.
Of the 90s.
Which, I love the Beatles, I love Nirvana, but, I just think it's not the end-all be-all.
Right, exactly. Or that those things all stand on their own. They're
Yeah.
not like leading up to something.
Yeah. Yeah.
The-
And I don't think Nirvana would be like, they led up to us, like, thank God,
Yeah.
like, like they're only worthwhile because we existed, almost. I don't know. One thing that exhibit taught us was, hey, how to build a music scene.
They did. Really laid that out for us.
Which is why we were laughing about the cake.
Yeah.
Because they have this fucking weird diagram of a city pointing to, there are 6 points about how to build a scene, about how to have venues, how to have local label. But it's just an overview. It's not about people in Seattle that made these things happen. In fact, let's go to a live recording of you talking about what a key individual is.
Pretty amazing.
Key individuals, man. These people act as the catalyst for a scene, setting up shows, opening venues, starting labels, playing in bands, or publishing magazines. No, just zines. Publishing zines. My bad.
God. Square.
And see, that's apparently, to have a scene, you need to have key individuals. You need to have local labels. These are just like generic things.
Yeah, it's like they almost like have a thing of like it would be like what you need to start a band, like a drum set.
Yes.
Number 2, bass guitar.
It's a recipe.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's like a recipe for
shit.
eggs.
Yeah.
Like to make eggs, you need eggs.
Yeah.
It's like almost offensive.
Yeah, that was really funny.
But yeah, baking a cake. Here's the recipe.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Mix, stir, turn to 450.
Oh God. So that pretty much did it for the music side of Mopop. We got you a coffee.
We did. And then we saw the local.
Right, the soundboard thing. Here, let's listen to that.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was really cool. That surprised me. I didn't know it was there. I think it's really awesome. Perhaps it's rotating. It's funny that it's kind of down in the corner near the elevators and bathrooms, but at least there's a place for it.
That's a heavy traffic area.
Yeah, I did have to go to the bathroom twice.
Yeah.
And you did not at all.
No.
The listeners want to know. The fans want to know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not drinking enough water.
Yeah, I agree. So we moved on to the sci-fi part.
Right.
Are you a fan of science fiction?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't say like it's been interesting because actually just in the year that I've known you and some other people who,
they don't need to know how long we've known each other.
That I'm learning to appreciate it more.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I dislike it.
That's funny because that makes it seem like our friendship over the past, quote, year, really diminishing everything, is me trying to get you into sci-fi, and that's like not even the case at all. Like as if
Every time we
I don't
hang
feel
out,
like
man,
I talk about it that
I mean,
much.
I know that's secret. That was the secret moment today. You're like, we should go to the museum today.
Yeah, the sci-fi museum. So, I mean, yeah, like I'm sure the listener now knows, I'm obsessed with sci-fi. No, I do like it, and I was excited to see that portion of it. It hadn't changed much since I last went to it.
Okay.
It's fun to see those artifacts, especially for me, the Doctor Who stuff. Oh, Whovian here. I just lost half my listenership with that word. Yeah.
I like seeing all the gun. Like it sounds funny, but the guns from the different films.
Yeah.
And,
a Series 4 deatomizer from Men in Black.
I loved. I mean, that was a highlight.
Well,
for
he
me.
sold it to an unlicensed cephalopod, Eli.
Dangerous. I mean, that's pretty. That's going rogue.
Rogue One.
See, I know what's up.
Yeah, see, you get it.
I'm in.
Yeah, that part was cool. I liked it. It's quick. It's fast.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Again, a lot of the interactive stuff
I was just about to bring
didn't
up.
really do anything. It felt like there was one part where it was like you're now entering the space arc, and it's just an elevator to a different floor.
That was it.
I can't tell if that was intentional or not. It was kind of confusing.
Yeah. No, we thought like again a couple more like smoke and mirrors, fog machines.
Yes.
Could add some.
Right. You literally want more smoke and mirrors?
And mirrors. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I get as a saying, but you literally want those
that's
things.
what I really want.
Yeah.
I think you could do a lot with it.
And so we also went to the Star Trek thing, which was a separate
Right,
exhibit.
you have to buy a separate ticket for that.
$5 extra.
Exclusive, yeah, $5 extra. You can stay as long as you want.
Right, but
no
you can
time
only go
limit.
once.
You can only go, no in and outs.
So I like sci-fi. I like Star Trek. I don't like it that much. It's a great exhibit, but I don't know.
Right. I again, not having been a fan, I don't think I've ever even watched a full episode of Star Trek. I lost interest kind of quickly. Or it seemed very repetitive.
Right. We didn't spend a lot of time there, and I didn't feel like I needed to.
No.
Yeah.
Same costumes.
Right. See, if it was Doctor Who, I could have spent all day there. And I can see people being into Star Trek loving it. If you're into Star Trek, highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As in, get high and go there.
I think I would have had more fun at the museum as a whole.
If you were baked.
Which,
Yeah. There is the Wake and Bake special where if they... Never mind. That's a stupid joke. I'm not doing anything with that. So I had a really good time there. I like that museum. I feel like Seattle tends to not like that museum.
Yeah, why is that?
I think part of it was the architecture. I think part of it is trying to define Seattle by Jimi Hendrix and Nirvana.
Right.
I think Paul Allen had something to do with it, maybe, and so people hate that. There was even, I remember, like last summer, the summer before, there was a very short-lived new music editor that came from New York for The Stranger. And one of the first articles she wrote about, which I think you can look it up, is about why the EMP is so hated, because she went there and really liked it. Mm-hmm. And she understood that it's, maybe for a little bit of the general population, but that it's not as lame as everyone thinks it is. Mm-hmm. If you have like family in town or it's a rainy day, would you agree?
Absolutely. I had a great time. It is a rainy day.
Yeah.
And I had a fantastic time.
Yeah, it was great.
I think I might. So I have the rest of the day off, whereas you do not.
Right.
And I might go back.
Yeah, you should go back.
Just by
Even though we can never go back. Or,
no, right.
like Jack says, we have to go back.
We can go back to the future, which brings up another thing. There was a little feature on hoverboards.
All right, well, yeah. I don't know why I'm...
Yeah, why are you missing that?
Yeah, why am I missing that cue to talk about hoverboards? There was the fucking hoverboards.
Yeah,
what's the big one called?
Pitbull.
You've got to have power.
Exactly.
McFly. Oh, God.
Yeah, all 3 hoverboards.
Yes.
Are there.
Mm-hmm. The Mattel one. Mm-hmm.
That little pink one.
Yeah.
Is that the Mattel?
And they tried... Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the little pink one.
Yeah. That's how I remember it.
Yeah, so wrapping it up, I loved it.
Yeah, check it out. It's worth it. I think students, if you're a student, you get a $3 discount.
Yeah, and there's a lot to learn there. And a lot to love.
And a lot to love.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so in closing, thanks for listening to Tady's Day Out. Mopop is open Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Costs approximately $25 for admission and is located at 325 Fifth Avenue North, right in the heart of the Seattle Center, next to the Space Needle. All right, we'll see you next time. This has been Tady's Day Out.
Ta-ta.
This has been a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it. Fuck it.